I want to give you an opportunity because I know you've been under the spotlight with this Epstein thing, and I don't want to come at you with facts, but I want to give you an opportunity if you want to just explain some things. Were there ever federal charges? Because the Miami Herald article said that he was facing 53 federal indictments.
There were. If I could just provide a brief overview, Congresswoman.
Yes, please. I would appreciate it.
This matter. This was a state matter.
Before it went to the state, it was my understanding that it was actually he was facing 53.
That is incorrect.
Was he facing any federal charges?
That is incorrect, Congresswoman.
All right, that was Democratic Congresswoman Lois Frankel of Florida back in April. She was pressing the Labor Secretary, Alex Acosta, on his involvement in Jeffrey Epstein's sweetheart plea deal back when he served as the state attorney, the U.S. attorney in Florida. This, as calls for Acosta to resign, continue to grow.
Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman from Florida, Lois Frankel. She represents Palm Beach County. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. Secretary Acosta earlier today tweeted a statement that he's saying now he is glad that the Southern District of New York picked up the prosecution. He defended his choices from a decade ago, arguing that Epstein was forced to register as a sex offender. That, I'm not going to say that was justice, but he seemed to say that was the right thing at the time. There's new evidence, and that new evidence is what New York is going after.
Is that a question?
Well, what do you think of his statement?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me today. Well, what do I think it's ludicrous. I mean, he allowed a sexual predator who molested countless numbers of young girls to run free on the streets. That's what bothers me the most, is that we've had not only the deal making, the sweetheart deal that Epstein got, but the fact that a dangerous man was let loose.
I mean, in that testimony, and you and other of your colleagues questioned him, he didn't seem troubled by this. He seemed to suggest that you, members of Congress, didn't really understand how the law works, and that this was a good deal because the guy went to jail, and they got the deal they could get. He didn't seem to really share the sense of outrage that others had about the fact that Epstein got what some are calling the deal of the century.
Well, let's just remember what Epstein was doing. I mean, he was bringing young girls, some as young as 13 or 14, to his home under pretense, molesting them, countless numbers. I've heard numbers up to 80, probably more. We just probably know the tip of the iceberg. He was given a sweetheart deal in a state court where he served just a few months, I think, but most of it was in like a two-bedroom suite. He was allowed to leave the jail every day to go to work. And as far as being arrested as a sexual offender or being, the fact of the matter is the man owns mansions. I don't think he really cares exactly where he's termed a sexual offender.
Then when all of this happened and he got this sweetheart deal, what did the people of Palm Beach say? This is your district. These are your constituents. He bigfooted his own prosecutors who had a 53-page indictment waiting.
Well, I can tell you this. The chief of police of Palm Beach was very upset. He remains very upset to this day. And I inquired several months ago. I mean, when this started bubbling up again, I inquired back at the state attorney's office to try to find out why they had this kind of deal. And the state attorney who was at the time is not there now. He is retired. And, you know, the kind of reaction I got was, well, you know, we really didn't think much of these young girls at the time. And, you know, in terms of Acosta, I will say this. If you look at that deal, people were given immunity. Why were other people given immunity? Why was the deal confidential? Why did they shield it from the victims? Why did potentially a 53 count indictment turn into like a little slap in the arm for soliciting prostitution? And who calls a 13 or 14-year-old girl to prostitute? There's so much wrong with what was done here. And what I want to add is, you know, Mr. Epstein is now going to face criminal charges. That's a good thing in New York. But I still think we have to get to the bottom of why did he get that sweetheart deal. And just to let you know, our Democratic Women's Caucus, we have been following this for months now. We've been in constant communications with our Oversight Committee and requesting that the committee look into it. What we've been waiting for, though, is an opportunity where we will not interfere with the criminal prosecution. But we are not done following this.
What's your level of confidence in Secretary Acosta's ability to continue as the Labor Secretary, given all the light that is now on how this deal was handled?
Well, myself and others, we've already written 2 letters to the president requesting that he remove Acosta. Of course, I think it would be better for Mr. Acosta just to resign. I mean, the irony of it is that part of the duties of the Labor Department is to prevent labor trafficking. And here is a man who said it's okay for this sexual predator to traffic in young girls. So, now, I don't think he's fit to be in office right now. I think the best he could do for this country is to step down.
All right, Congresswoman Lois Frankel, thank you for joining us.